Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Myst 5 End of Ages. So, we made it inside this arena, which seems to be mostly aquatic animals fighting each other, which is a little weird, but it is very Riven-esque. And I assume we need to lower this platform so we could see this teleport spot. Doesn't seem like we could get the correct angle. Although if we just rotated the platform, then we could see the pedestal. That being said, I think the solution is probably pretty easy. 2 closed, 2 open, and then the left open. Alright. So 2 closed with the most amount of circles. Two open with the second most. 2 closed there and that. So I assume that is the solution. Not much of a puzzle really, but it does sound like, even though we don't have footsteps when we stand anywhere, it sounds like there might be an actual pressure plate here, which there was a pressure plate in the last stage also. Let's see what this does. Ah, that works perfectly fine. So if I place it on the pedestal, then we now know what to do. You should just draw the picture first. It's a little human. Square with the bottom. Open. Rough circle. You should probably double check and just place this down on the ground and let the least creatures pick it up. Sounds like they understood, so they disappear just to appear in the same location. Okay. Again, we're getting shaky screen because it's switched back to Classic Plus mode. This game is very buggy and it was almost completely unbeatable in that there was a point there where I wasn't actually able to see through the telescopes in another age, and I had to turn I had to change the vertical sync. So by raising this platform, well, we raised the platform too high. This is more of a puzzle than I thought it would be. So maybe what we do is we do one of these instead. We're gonna have to assume each one of these is just a increment of height. Okay, that worked. But unfortunately, the only real help we have is now we can walk this way as a shortcut, but we still have to walk a very far distance. Before I walk this way, let's make sure there isn't something else to find. Although, there are no books in this game. This really is not a Myst game. This tooth texture is popping in and popping out. In the background area is popping in and popping out. Clearly this area is too big for the engine that it's built on. And frankly, it's too big just in general for the gameplay. Oh, I don't like that I can't just climb down here. It would feel like you should just be able to slide down, but I can't do anything with the rope. There's seemingly no ladder to knock down, no switch to pull. So this entire section is not a shortcut. Which means I have to go this way. And I guess at this point you do have a little bit of help. You can teleport and have to teleport. Then we'll teleport to the second pedestal. I didn't realize it was supposed to hold my weight. Well, how am I supposed to know my weight? It's not weighing me. There was a point very early in the game where you had your weight to tell you that you used your weight to break through some cracks in the ice, but there wasn't a real puzzle there. Let's just see if this works. You can't move until here, and you can't just jump. So it seems like you're just supposed to brute force this. Any other Myst game, there would be a very obvious scale. There would be perhaps a default weight of a human, or at some point you would at least have measured your weight. Okay, that time that was too much. So the game is just wasting our time. It already gave us a very large age to deal with a lot of walking. Now it's asking to take up even more of your time just by trial and error. Is there anything to potentially take away from this? And we can subtract by 1 that way. I feel like standing on this pedestal, even though that is a weight switch, isn't helping me in any way, and I don't think if I left the tablet on the pedestal that would help me in any way, but maybe that is the solution. Subtracting by 1 is probably a mistake. Yeah, but it worked. So whatever. That definitely felt like yet another puzzle that I really would have wanted to feel very proud that I could figure out the solution and solve it. But wow, it just moved me backwards.
Here, we watched the harvest of the gems, freed from the conquered lucky, painted with their bloods. What triumph! What grand sport!
The dynamic lighting is going to put us in an eclipse.
Isha finds such strength brutal, even as she seeks it herself. Ah! To have such fellowship with my people again.
Awkward pause. I don't even know why you would do that. Like, either the engine can't handle him walking around while it loads the teleportation animation, or it's hiding something else. So yeah, the deny people, and this is weird canon changing, are having the creatures fight the Loki creatures, and there are basically pearls or gems inside of the creatures, and the gems play some kind of major element towards either communicating and discovering, either communicating with or discovering other ages or creating ages, depending on whether the art is actually creating ages or just discovering them, depending on how you interpret the story, which they just don't really do the greatest of job of explaining. So there's an extra level of brutality to the Dunny people. Although in all fairness, while it is brutal to see creatures fight to the death, but it's a small price to make some animal pay to get crystals that could lead to such magical lands. Although the practicality of ages, as they're always depicted as a video game puzzle world, is questionable. Not a lot of ages that you would want to live on or grow food on or try and build a society on. Okay. So here's the combination, and we took a picture of those symbols. They're going to play a role. I hope we took a picture of the symbols. Nope, we did not. Alright, well, It's kind of dark with the dynamic lighting, which that highlights another issue. Start with you pull these flaps down, or you just click on it. Now weirdly, am I trapped in this area? Most of the time you wouldn't be trapped, you could just jump down, and I guess that's what that's for, is that you can jump down. But weirdly, that is also the only time in the Myst game you've ever been allowed to jump down in a one-way path, which is a mistake. Certainly if you were going to reboot the Myst series, you would have one-way paths happen quite a bit. It's unfortunate, but really if you were going to remake this game, you still probably would try to make something closer to Skyrim, with enemies popping up and random caves, more simplistic solutions to puzzles. Okay, so it's circle, square, triangle, hexagon, diamond. We can figure that out. Yeah, I don't know what you would do to make a game like this more palatable to your average player without having some kind of enemy attack you. Even if you had a great system to make a bunch of puzzles, if you had a great system to randomize the solution to puzzles, you just wouldn't present it as a AAA game, which is the way Myst is presented. You'd have to have a much more intriguing story in this case. This story has been absolutely nothing. You just have Eshu talking to you the whole time, and you saw Yisha at the very beginning, and you'll see her at the very end, and that's it. I can't read that anyways. I probably will just use a walkthrough. Circle. Was it circle, square, triangle? Or circle, triangle, square? Square, triangle, hexagon, diamond. Okay. So that brings us into the jeweler's house. From the jeweler's house we can see a bunch of jewels and weapons. You can see paintings showing them killing the creatures to get the jewels. Here we have a color palette, which, yeah, beneficial just to take a picture of it. Although if you zoom in like this, it actually looks different than the way it does here. You've rotated around. Here it's red, red, green, blue. There it's blue, green, red, red. And as far as we know, you could easily just assume they're collecting these jewels for no good reason. Can't even pick that one up. Not that it would matter. Now we've made a shortcut, which definitely solves a big problem with this giant level, even though a lot of the level is empty. This is the most decorated room in the entire game, and it's not that impressive. Every other room has not had chairs, hasn't really had tables, hasn't had artwork. So you can't even look at this artwork directly on. This looks like a big fire lighthouse type device for sailing, which it might make some sense if the Dunny people were spending most of their lives on the oceans of different ages. It explains why so many ages are surrounded by oceans. And then here you have what you would assume would be an ancient Dunny person, but in a lot of ways it just looks like a Central American, South American person, Native American. There's a lot of skulls. We can't do anything with the crystals, which arguably the crystals are the most valuable thing in the Myst universe. What in the world am I supposed to be doing, though? There's a puzzle here. It must be that I must need to go down one of these tunnels, or both of these tunnels. You'd expect you'd find a book or something down these tunnels, but nope. Notice how the game has just chosen to make that one long transition point. So even the game is getting tired of making me click to move from point A to point B multiple times. Down here you're seeing what feels like more electronics and technology, as if all of the arena isn't as ancient as it once seemed, and it is really just a facade. Which it may very well be the case. It's a facade. May need to drop the tablet to interact with this other thing. Okay, we've got an elevator, and we've got what looks like a doormat that might be a direction, back. So we need to get on this elevator. So you'd think that a command to lift would exist, but we don't have a command to lift. So we'll just stand on that, and okay, I think I understand this now. We need to just drop this. We could draw the sign of the snake on it if we wanted to, but we drop this here, so we're going to use the least, and we're going to come over here, and we're going to lift that, and we're going to stand on this part. So when the least takes the symbol, guess I need the sign of the snake after all. So it kind of feels like they are intentionally making it so that you can't solve this area until last, or at least until you've done the area previous to this. Although most players would have a good chance that they would do every area in order. I guess it's on the other pedestal. It's very easy still to end up putting the tablet on the wrong pedestals. It would make a lot of sense for the tablet, since it is magical, to also coexist in every location on every pedestal. Of course, that might overly complicate a lot of the puzzles. This whole underground side, though, feels completely disconnected compared to the rest of the area. Because seriously? So the snake didn't work, then my only other thought would be let's see. The chant might give me a little bit more time. If we do the 3 waves. Either that, or I'm supposed to lift that higher, which that doesn't seem like that's the case. I can't turn around. Okay. Okay. So this area is up. If I stand on this again, it doesn't fall down. So it just does not fall down at all. Maybe the goal is to... Did we lose our tablet? I think we did. There's a whole windstorm blowing on the outside. could go around in circles if there was a platform or something that made sense here. Like, we go around in circles, and then that elevates something that I assume is kind of deep underground. I don't think it has anything to do with the driller's room, and there isn't a room over there, although maybe that's what the elevator is taking you to. You would think that there would be more of a puzzle to this, or more of a solution to this. Let's use the snake symbol so it doesn't take the thing. Okay. Maybe I'm not supposed to drag it all the way up. Let's go halfway. Well, even then, he still took it with the sign of the snake on it. So either I didn't draw the snake correctly, if the idea was to just get your eyeballs on a pedestal up there, you'd think the game would point it directly in that direction. And this makes a good argument that perhaps they should never actually take the tablet and they should just always leave it, although then that probably hurts the solution to other puzzles. It's not really a gimmick that you can make a million variations on the same theme. The only variations you can really make here are that you would have more symbols, and even at that, too many symbols complicates the game too much. That's why we have only really one action symbol in each age. If I was to put the pedestal here, if I was to put the tablet here, would that do anything for me? Well, there's clearly something I'm not getting here. Let's look around before I just use a walkthrough. Because... yeah, the only thing I could think is to put the pedestal here and then stand on it myself. Put the tablet here and stand on the switch over there, and that would just make a least character be up there. There's no writing on the walls. There's seemingly no other switches. Does just come off as a timing puzzle. If I had a symbol for lift as an action, or if there was even like a symbol in one of these books to stay, that might make some sense. Alright, let's just look up the answer here. Moving on, moving on. Need to somehow get to the top of the elevator. The elevator is raised by first raising the lever nearby to a set height, then stepping on the switch at the end of the nearby hallway. To use a symbol specifically for this age. You didn't find it inside of this area. Okay. So it is one of Isha's journals that is the solution. So we need to, I guess, go through all these again.
These
if
pages.
you hadn't found them all, or if you just opted to skip them all,
I am finding where I am by understanding where I was. Pride is a thief. Pride stole the soul of the Denis people. Pride
Friend,
stole my own brother.
we tried that symbol, and it's not for the right.
I am finding where I am by understanding where I was.
Actually, come to think of it, there is an argument
Pride is a thief.
to go
Pride stole
and
the
find
soul
this
of the
tablet
Denis people. Pride
and
stole
draw
my
a
own
friend
brothers.
on this tablet.
The
That would be
temptation was too great.
first
It is not the power,
ice
but the
area.
The stranger, the friend, returned
We're
again
looking
to
for
help.
a tablet that's a half circle.
I am sick of the grower. Oh yes. To Mana, my home, the place where I was. I was very young when I first felt strong.
Here we go.
Indeed, I was young, but I thought I understood. I had many abilities, even then,
So,
but little wisdom.
A circle
Better to have fewer abilities
and
than
a
much wisdom.
circle curved.
I knew I was doing something great for us, but what I did was foolish.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and flip over my mouse pad to the precision drawing. Try that again. Circle, circle, curve there, curve there. So there is basically a special symbol extra for each location, it seems like. And it has you step off of that section. I don't know what that does with the tablet, but I assume it's now been put in a different location. Okay, we can't click on this. So what were our choices? We saw red, red, green, blue. I hope that means I'm supposed to go red, red. It was green, blue, was it not? Red, red, green, blue. This is yellow. Seems like you could probably brute force this whole puzzle anyways. You are clicking on these dots, but it feels like there's multiple ways you could solve this otherwise. You could have gone red, then red, then you could have walked over here and hit green, then you could have walked back here and hit blue. That didn't do anything. Could do red, red, green, blue this way. Double clicked accidentally there. Alright, well, feels like these should be motion sensors where you would step in front of it and then it would activate and know you stood in front of it. You should hear just like a ding or a pressure. I suspect the actual solution is easier though, as far as this maze, since the rest of this game has been fairly simplistic. I assume the move is probably to just step on this and then very quickly try and step on this and go this way. Of course, that may have messed me up too. Oh, you can just walk around, can't you? Okay, red. red, green, blue. And that opens the door, and I assume that means that there's no other solutions. So is that some kind of like escape hatch for Dunny Kings? I don't know. It does make sense to just go get the tablet, so let's, in abundance of caution, draw this symbol. This way, down this way, this way, this way, and that, and that, and that. I think that's correct. So, seems like sometimes they move a little bit faster if you draw something correctly. Or maybe they just teleport a bit faster because you're close to the starting point. Okay. So there's one more teleport, so we're about done with this level, and then that means we're about done with the whole game. I don't think there's a whole nother puzzle age when everything is finished. Big tall plants. And we'll want to see each of the, I suspect, 3 different endings. I'll go ahead and start with what I believe to be the good ending, which is the ending you, much like the first game, probably shouldn't figure out or know anything about, except for in the case of the first game, the white page and the way to find the white page and find Atris is very much hidden, where the solution to the good ending of this game is actually pretty obvious. It's been taught
Once again, you impress me
the
with your
entire
ability.
game.
The way has not been easy. You've come here via the way of the Krish, the warriors, the natives who traveled here to subdue the beasts for us. And what has become of them? Back to their barbaric ways? What a waste. Yet more destruction at the hands of the outsiders who have never understood what the Khni is. And now they can rebuild it?
So, yeah, increasingly you're seeing that he's an angry man at the very least. Looks like there's an entire ship and an entire kind of naval class of warriors that are not seemingly the Dunny people, but maybe they are a different warrior caste of the Dunny people. I guess they're warrior caste of the Dunny people. Once again, the game though is giving you a lot of open space to walk around, which only makes sense if this was an MMO and there was a bunch of people playing the game with you, or if there was a bunch of animals or something else to interact with. When you think about like the original Tomb Raider games, you would have 3D platforming in comparison, or shooting of wolves and monsters. Yeah, that could help a little bit, although 3D platforming breaks the puzzle aspect of this game. You'd have to be very careful about that idea. I feel like I'm going in circles, probably because I am. But this has to be the other side of the island also. It just feels very much like they may have copy and pasted some of the rock formations, some of the past. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like there's anything you do with these creatures. I guess if you had like a hunting game mechanic, hunting animals to get their pelts or resources to potentially make linking books, wouldn't be the craziest idea. Yeah. So it seems to me like there isn't anything here. Maybe this dries up and this falls over. Or maybe there's some kind of extra path there, but it seems to me like you're just going to call the winds and that's going to bring a ship to appear. Let's go ahead and make a save. That way, just in case the game jumps to the end really fast. I don't think it is. If this does call a ship, it feels like that would be probably an automated ship. That didn't drown up that area. And this is not spinning. So are we supposed to be able to get on top of these rocks? Or am I supposed to do something else? It really doesn't look like a spinning section. Looks like a fire section. Nothing is getting revealed of all this sandstorm. Definitely feels like I may just have to use the walkthrough again to figure out what I'm supposed to do. Or maybe I've found another area. Well, I've been to this area, I just didn't investigate it well enough, obviously. So we have several weights holding down the door. We have a section here. There's several more weights. So it looks like we found our puzzle. Very easy to just accidentally walk past it. Alright, well. I'd assume that this here might be the hint. 1, then a space, then 2. All of the weights look to be about the same. And none of this looks wind controlled. Okay. So let's just pull something. Well, that was easy. Unless there's something more to it. Just no level of polish there, it seems, at all to stop somebody from brute forcing their way through a solution without having to show any understanding or knowledge. I literally just started pulling things, and I was about to have to look. I was about to check how to reset the puzzle, but seemingly that's not a problem. Now, the next part of the question is, do I need that to spin, or do I need to balance it? I bet I need to balance it. Okay, so it's more of a puzzle than I thought it would be. So the goal is to move this in balance, and it would be nice, honestly, if there was a way to see if it was in balance or not without having to look up every time. And I guess there's an assumption here that the lengths of the ropes are not attached to pulleys, which would affect how much they would affect the weight. So what we want to do is do that. And that may be it. If not, then we just need a little bit more weight. So I take back what I said. I did have to actually show a level of understanding the puzzle. Not much of an understanding. As far as weight puzzles go, these are very simplistic, and you would think that this entire age might be around the idea of weight puzzles. But not sure I fully believe that it's sticking to that idea. I have no idea what this is supposed to do. Looks like it's a place where you have a campfire. And this is the half moon shape that would show us a symbol. So I bet what I have to do is cause the wind to blow one more time. Step away. I guess I have to step away further. Even further. Okay. Notice how everything paused when I took the picture. Alright. Yeah, that looks decent enough. It does look to me like that's a symbol representing the animals. So maybe that'll teleport us to where the animals are. Or maybe it will even summon the animals. Although the game is now going to either force us to wait through this sandstorm or walk through it back to the pedestal. I feel like there's a pretty logical flaw here in that your solution to most of these puzzles is that you get teleported to a location you've never been before, instead of returning to a location that you took the long way to reach. Would make a lot more sense if you had to touch every pedestal first as a checkpoint. Then you could fast travel. Alright, let's go ahead and make another save file, because this may push us into the ending. One last conversation with this guy.
Isle. Very few have been here.
He said he was going to stop talking to us a long time ago. Hours
Treasures
ago.
were kept here. And still are. The tablet on the keep is perhaps the greatest treasure ever held by man or beast. And you will hold it soon.
We'll probably see a pause, and then he'll play a second line of dialogue.
Power is in your hands, friend. Whether you like it or not.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they're mixing and matching dialogue. And I bet there's nothing really to see here. No extra secrets. So the only real secrets I may have missed, and if this was a more modern game, there almost certainly would have been achievements for it, would have been to play out the other symbols, but we may need to use those symbols anyways. Depends how the game is going to end. And we are at an hour, so I think it is wise to just end this episode here. Very often I try to push it and end up going 2 or 3 hours once a game is at the very end. We have, I suspect, 3 endings to show off and credits to look at. That we'll do that in the next, probably final episode. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me further, there's some links down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.